This is a question and answer period from our recent Flevy phone call. Go ahead.
So in no particular order, if I choose to post my material up there, I'm a little bit confused because you said I can brand it myself, and you also said that people can, when they purchase it, they can change it and download it and brand it for their own needs and take my branding off. So the question becomes, what about that branding, and and who owns the rights? Next question is...
Okay, let's why don't we answer that one? Because we have another person who had the same question, and why don't we just answer the rights? Because David and I talked about that. Consultants saying, why should I give other people my...
Right, yeah.
David, why don't you answer that?
Sure, so so we have, I guess, default terms on the site that if you accept those terms, these are generally the terms, I guess, that a customer agrees to, or a seller also agrees to. And that's the IP is retained by the author, but the customer is able to use, modify, and distribute the modified document. But if you're concerned that, or you don't want that, you don't want the customer to make any changes to your document, or if you don't agree with any other part of the terms, you're free to actually include your own terms, which will supersede what's currently on the site as these general terms. And some of the authors do that, and we make that clear that the author's terms take precedent over our general terms. To address, I guess, your question fully, most of our customers aren't consultants. They're typically executives of small and mid-sized companies. Those are our larger customers. And so these non-consulting customers typically just buy the documents to use, and they may eventually contact a consulting firm for additional services. Of course, some of the customers are also consulting firms, and the consulting firms are the ones that will probably take a slide and reuse it for their own purposes.
I'm assuming you don't have any numbers on percentages that go back to the consultants for support later on?
No, I don't have percentages. I just have sort of anecdotes from sellers who reach out to me, yeah.
Okay, so then how do we know what the currency of any particular slide deck is, and which type of approach or model it might be using? For instance, if you just take the category of strategic planning, there are a number of different approaches and types and views and definitions. So before purchasing, how does one know what a particular deck really is about?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question, because I mean, sometimes it's not clear exactly what a term means, or I mean, these decks are also fairly in-depth, and it may or may not include what you're looking for. So I guess there are a few things we do to try to make it as clear as possible what's in the document. One is we have a partial preview of each document. Typically for a PowerPoint, it's a third of the slides. There's also a description of what's included in the document, exactly, let's say, if it's strategic planning, what types of frameworks they cover, or what the process is. And if just from these, I guess, two descriptions, it's still not, you still have questions, you can always ask questions to the seller, which you can do from the product page, or you can just email our support team as well with questions, and we'll try to get those questions answered directly by the author.
Okay, and what percentage of the selling price goes to me?
The author, 70%. So the author actually sets all the details of the documents, including the pricing. We may provide suggestions on what we think proper pricing is. The average price of a document on a site that's sold is about $50. But some authors choose to list their products for, let's say, like a few $100s. And for whatever price they sell it at, they retain 70% of each sale.
And I'm assuming that once the sale is made, there are no updates to it. It's just a one-time sale. And if the new slide deck, if the slide deck by the author is modified or updated, that's just a new purchase. Is that correct?
No, that's not a new purchase. So if you upload a document and let's say a month later you upload a new version to the same document, the customer can always download the latest version of the document.
Okay, thank you.
But, yeah. Okay.
But David, if let's say you enhance it or go to a majorly different version of the same topic, you could create a separate document that you're selling, correct?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of authors do that, and I would recommend it. It's much better to sell, I would say, multiple documents that may be shorter in length that are related to a common theme than a more comprehensive document that includes all these separate, separate subtopics.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Laura Lee. I had a quick question. This kind of reminds me of the Udemy platform. And with the Udemy platform, they do their own specials. So even if the creator sets the price, they have a database that they continue to manage and market to on behalf of all of the instructors, as they call it. Do you do the same thing? Do you market on behalf of the authors and run specials?
Yeah, we do. We definitely market on behalf of the authors, and we try to form partnerships, sort of, I guess, on behalf of Flevy, but promoting specific authors. A lot of the marketing we do is either social media or email. Email across, and we have a lot of different newsletters sort of segmented to different topics, but across all of our email lists, we have about 150,000 subscribers that we actively push specific authors' products to. And on social media, I believe we have about 50,000 followers / connections, and we're constantly pushing new products, mostly on social media. In terms of launching discounts, I guess, we typically don't do that. In fact, we almost never do that. But every now and then we may launch like a promotion, but that just comes from the remaining 30%. It doesn't cut into the 70% unless it's some sort of very unique promotion where we discuss it with the author and they agree that they're willing to do this, at a different type of rev share.
David, we have a question about workshop or seminar material. Do you have any kind of that materials? And I don't know, Constantino, so if I'm not asking the right question, do you have some authors who have put up workshop or seminar materials?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have some authors who have, let's say, well, I guess the short answer is just yes, and it ranges from the short, like 10-slide deck to a multi-day workshops where each deck covers a different module over, let's say, some sort of a training program, let's say like a lean management training program.
So it sounds like you're very responsive and respectful of your authors. That's the sense I've always had in talking with you.
Yeah. We never make any changes without the author's approval. Sometimes we try to make we try to strike partnerships with different companies, and other companies may want let's say a high rev share percentage, and if that's the case, we speak with specific authors to see if this is something they want to proceed with, and if they don't, that's completely fine. We never force anything upon any of the authors.
So David, are there any specific topics or titles that you really are looking to expand upon, or you're open to anything?
We're really open to anything. I would say we have documents that fall under all your major corporate functions except for accounting and legal. And I would say these are two areas that we're not, at this point at least, too interested in. So anything that falls outside of those areas, we are trying to actively build up. We have the most number of documents under the categories, I would say, of strategy / marketing, corporate strategy / corporate marketing, as well as operational excellence / Lean Six Sigma. So those areas are slightly more crowded, but obviously we still accept documents there, and those categories also sell the best.
A thought that I had, David, is if we had maybe a user group that wanted to, I know you're going out of town for a little bit, but maybe after the first of the year, if we had a user group, and that might be something that in our C2M Live we would talk about. David is someone that we're going to try to get onto our C2M Live. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's a monthly phone call just like this with a conversation with a lead speaker. And that might be something we think about doing in January at the call, where you say, just sort of what should you be doing? What are some of the practices that the higher selling authors are doing and things like that? Maybe just sort of like a workshop on how to get revenue from your intellectual property.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to do something like that.